We are wrestling. We are wrestling podcast.
They give a shout out to We Are Wrestling on YouTube.
You're watching We Are Wrestling.
I'm the host with the most.
You are by far the least intelligent.
What's going on, everybody? Danny Huckins here, man. 1/3 of We Are Wrestling.
What's going on? We are Wrestling Maniacs Worldwide. Ben here, the third of the talk show.
We Are Wrestling Podcast.
Make sure to subscribe, baby.
We are wrestling.
What is up? We are Wrestling Maniacs out there worldwide. I'm the host with the most, Mr. We Are Wrestling himself, the best One Donnie here with...
What's going on, everybody? Danny Huckins here, man. 1/3 of We Are Wrestling, and we got the fucking trio back together, man. The band is back together.
The big three, baby.
Hell yeah. What's going on? We are Wrestling Maniacs. Ben here, the third of the podcast. It is great to have the three fucking amigos back together in the flesh for you guys. And before we get into our exciting episode 60, Don, take it away.
60 episodes of the We Are Wrestling podcast.
60 hours, bro.
That is absolutely insane. And to all the listeners out there, I know there's not 60 episodes on our Spotify or Apple podcast, but over on our YouTube page where we started, this is 60 episodes. But before we dive into our topics for this week's episode of the podcast, if you're not a We Are Wrestling Maniac yet already, and you're not a part of the thousands of subscribers, the best way to support us is by hitting that subscribe button now, turning on the post notifications, videos be coming out of nowhere like an RKO, and of course, you already know, the grind is real.
Yeah, boy. I also want to point out, this is my first time realizing that in our intro video, there's somebody getting a fucking, like, some kind of pile driver, and their neck fucking flops, bro. My God, I was watching it, and I was like, damn. Who was that? Blitzkrieg. So I was like, damn. He got fucking smashed.
Bro, man, one of the best independent promotions in the area.
We got to get you to a show before the end of the year, man.
Dude, we really have to. I gotta fucking plan that shit out because I am like so horrible about going to live shows lately, man. It's been fucking nuts, but it should be getting easier here pretty soon. I do have to go see a Blitzkrieg show. I really, really fucking do because I feel ashamed to be a wrestling fan and I haven't even been to a promotion that is literally super fucking local, and that is ridiculous.
And a lot of the young upcoming stars, they come from Blitzkrieg Pro. A lot of these guys in the Northeast were very lucky to have, you know, guys like MJF.
Yeah, I was going to say
Carmelo
MJF did.
Hayes, all of these, you know, big talent that are, you know, striving right now in AEW and WWE.
Yeah, man.
Carmelo Hayes was Christian
speaking
Casanova.
Speaking of WWE, man, you just went to Monday Night Raw this past Monday.
That's
How
right,
was
I
it?
did. And honestly, man, for Monday Night Raw, it was a fantastic experience. So for years, I stopped going to WWE shows.
You lucked out.
Because I, you know, lost my passion for, you know, being for professional wrestling. And with Raw, I went to my first one back in 2021 with some buddies. We were up in the nosebleeds. It was a great show. Cody Rhodes fought Austin Theory, almost won the U.S. title. This was during the Vince McMahon era. And the Raw was a little bit lackluster. Even though they did have Alexa Bliss make her return, that was like the only thing that was like, oh my God. But now, you know, going from 2021 to 2023,
the Triple H era.
Triple H era television show, because Survivor Series is a premier live event.
That was lit.
Even though that was a fantastic experience, you know, out in Boston with you, Ben. Recommend the We Are Wrestling listeners and, you know, viewers to check out that vlog on the channel.
Hell yeah, you get to see me partially naked.
And honestly, with Monday Night Raw, I gotta say, this show was definitely one of the better Monday Night Raws.
You got fucking lucky.
Cam, my boy, came in clutch with these tickets the day of. I did not expect us to be as close as we were during the show.
How'd he get him day of, bro?
So how he did it was during the day of the tickets. So I believe they went on sale when I was at the big event in New York back in March. So the day of, he actually got those tickets where we were sitting for only $50. So if you are trying to go to a Monday Night Raw or a Friday Night SmackDown, what I learned getting back into, traveling, going to these wrestling shows is get the tickets the day of or the day of the show. So when they go on sale or the day of the show.
Yeah, because like Raws and SmackDowns don't sell out. So
and I heard
there's
that,
always tickets.
And I heard
but don't
that,
get them in between because the prices are going to be jacked up.
Oh, yeah.
And I heard if you get them at the actual box office, you can avoid all the fucking fees from fucking Ticketmaster.
Exactly. That's why a lot of people, they wait till the day of. But
Say
going
hello
to this
to
Monday
that
Night
fucking
Raw,
line.
man, I got to say, like, another cool thing about this was I bumped into a lot of We Are Wrestling Maniacs during this. I was handing out business cards to a lot of people, and a lot of them that I was handing them to said, I've seen this channel before. I've seen your videos.
I wonder what would
Absolutely
happen if we
nuts.
went to a Monday Night Raw and all three of us were together.
That's
The
what
whole
I wanna
fucking
I
know.
never in
dude,
a million years like
I would
would've
love
thought
to.
that I would be recognized for anything like, especially like YouTube related. Because
Dude,
think of how many people are on the world and how many people are on this platform, bro. We're like relatively really small compared to a
dude,
lot of
it's
other people.
weird because like even like outside of We Are Wrestling, like I was at Red Robin fucking like a few weeks ago with my brother and my daughter, and fucking I saw this dude with a band shirt, and like we just talked for like a quick second. He kept like looking over at me at the table, and then he got up and came to our table and asked me. And I was like, dude, there's no fucking way right now, no fucking way. But no, it wasn't the case at all. But like it's a strange feeling thinking that that's what's about to happen. So I can only imagine what it was like for you, Don.
Yeah, man, it was absolutely crazy. And it's amazing always, bumping into We Are Wrestling Maniacs. And I think the reason why we're very recognized in our area when we go to these Blitzkrieg Pro shows, when we go to these wrestling conventions in Connecticut, Mass, or New York, I think the reason why we're recognized is because on the We Are Wrestling channel, we're really proud to be in New England. And like we really, I feel like we acknowledge where we are. I feel like. And I think a lot of, the maniacs that, tune into the podcast, that, watch the videos and stuff, I think they really see the passion that we have for this, and they like how we support independent wrestling. They like that we do a lot of stuff for our community, which, is always the end goal at the end of the day.
We're fans too, man. We're
We
big
are.
fans too. So it's like, a lot of people, they kind of separate, and I'm one of these people too, because like I have a hard time like, reaching out to bigger reactors that, I admire, but I'm friends with a lot of them now. It's weird because a lot of people separate your YouTube persona and forget that you're like a real person. And when they meet you, it's like almost weird because we're literally just like them, like we're just people too that are just huge fans that just love to talk about it and love to talk about it with an audience. So it's kind of cool, when you get recognized. So I feel like that's going to be a really
And that's the thing,
interesting
man.
experience.
Like, that's like one of my favorite things. Because when I meet somebody, like, I don't want it to feel like they're like meeting somebody big. Like, I love, actually sitting there talking with them about
No, of course.
wrestling. And I love to just have those conversations with them because this community that we have built is just incredible. And
Hell yeah, man.
honestly, like, we're 4,000 strong, and I can't wait to continue growing it.
That's fucking nuts still. Like, I want to talk about that real quick. Like, that is fucking nuts. Like, 100 subscribers to me at one point, and it still is a vast number. Like, if you reach 100 subscribers, that's incredible, because if you can sway even 10 people you don't know to subscribe to your shit and regularly watch, that's a fucking milestone, man, So to be at, a 4,000 strong audience, and we even have regulars that we know. Like, we know certain people whenever they pop up, like, we know them. Like, we're at that point now, We have sometimes 50 to 30 to sometimes me and Dan got fucking 60 during Hell in a Cell. Like, that shit was nuts. You know, like we really did build such a big community with this channel, and it's so cool seeing it grow. It's like it's your own baby, you know, nurturing it and seeing the payoff and like, you know, what you nurtured. You know, it's so it just I could go on and on about how proud of it I am. You know, I can go on and on about how fucking stoked I am to be a part of it, you know. But I just wanted to acknowledge it real quick because again, you know,
who would have thought that, you know, like that day I messaged Donnie and be like, yo, you know, I'll guest host or guest co-host on your wrestling show, whatever. Who knew it would have turned out to be this, man?
And then 1 week later, I showed up.
Well, we're 60 episodes in, and I feel like I could say this now, going into 60 episodes. So I was going host to host with We Are Wrestling, and this podcast, we, you know, had a show called the We Are Wrestling Talk Show. That was the original name of it.
Mhm.
And, you know, these episodes that we had in the past, you know, we took off YouTube completely. And honestly, like, I really thought that this third time around, like, the channel wasn't really going to go anywhere. And I was actually thinking about not doing We Are Wrestling anymore at one point.
Third time's usually the charm, man.
And
everything
what
comes in
we've built
threes.
is just so incredible because it started off with me looking for, you know, guest hosts, and, you know, Danny was the first one to go right onto my Facebook and comment. And we did the episode. And then I remember, Ben, you were interested in doing it. So then Danny got involved, and then us three, we just had that chemistry, and
you wanted Ben
something incredible.
You wanted Ben on, and we talked about this on the
because of my Charlotte Flair shit. Yeah, my Charlotte Flair admiration. Yeah,
that's how it started.
So I think one of the things that helps this channel grow the way it does with our chemistry, I think it helps, one, that we're all fans, and we've all been fans for a long time. Two, we're friends in real life. You know, like, we're not in different states. We're literally, you guys are still in Springfield. I just moved to Holyoke, which is only 10-15 minute drive down the road. You know, we're very in close proximity. Like, we see each other for the big pay-per-views. We're all in the same fucking room for the big ones, you know? So it's like, that helps a lot. So the fact that, you know, we have a lot of history in general helps with talking about it, and it's a thing that we all mark the fuck out about, you know? So it just makes it so much easier. So I could literally do this shit all day, you know? Like, we've done 60 episodes now. A lot of them have been an hour. A lot of them have been over 2. A lot
We're
of them have
getting
been
there
an hour
now
and a
with the
half.
latest episodes. We've been getting to an hour and a half, 2 hours.
Because there's been interesting shit to talk about.
It's only taken us 61 episodes, because this is 60. A week from today, we have our first spot at a convention. It only took us 61 episodes to accomplish that.
Yeah.
That is nuts.
The Wrestling Classic vlog is going to be fucking wild. Like, I don't know what we're going to get in the wrestling vlog, but we're going to get something in the Classic vlog. Like, it's probably going to be one of the biggest ones we do, because it's going to be so personal, because we're going to be right there with everybody.
You just got an upgraded computer, so you'll be able to vlog too now.
I could, but I don't have like a camera to vlog with. My front camera's busted, so, and it looks like shit. So I don't know if I want to do that.
Speaking of vlogs, we recommend, you know, the We Are Wrestling listeners, the viewers watching, to go check out 2 vlogs that we posted on the We Are Wrestling YouTube channel this week. The Monday Night Raw vlog. Not only do we have Monday Night Raw highlights and stuff during, you know, the vlog, we also have things from after the show, getting the wrestlers, you know, leaving the show, which you can give a shout out to Cam for that. That was his idea. And the second vlog that we do have on the We Are Wrestling channel, JR meeting Jim Ross, which, Danny, we definitely got to dive into that and talk about that experience a little bit.
That was a surreal moment, you know. Growing up, like, you know, you guys know the kind of admiration that I have for the Attitude Era. I'm just, you know, such a huge fan, and that's really where the peak of my fandom began.
Well, yeah, that's why your name is Danny the Mark Huckins.
Hey, man. You know who else's name is Mark? The Undertaker, so fuck off.
All right, true. All right, yeah, you know what? All right, you got me there. All right, I'll give you that one.
Mean Mark Callis.
But yeah, man, like, JR, he's called some of the greatest moments in pro wrestling history, no doubt. Like,
the Punisher.
A lot of people enjoyed, you know, Bobby the Brain Heenan and Gorilla Monsoon, and, you know, even Vince McMahon in like the mid 90s or whatever.
Dr.
I don't think Yeah, Dr. Isaac Yankem.
I have that figure on my shelf too.
Of course, the
My
fuck you
90s.
do. I'm not
I don't-
surprised.
Now, everybody's going to have a different view. You know, some people's fandom goes back to the 80s. Some people's fandom goes back to, like, the Ruthless Aggression era. I mean, there's even people that come in my streams that say, oh, I didn't start watching, you know, pro wrestling until 2012, 2013 or whatever.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
everybody's, you know, fandom is different. But I don't think there's another commentator that can lace up JR's boots. Like, the dude he gets you into the match. He makes you care about what is happening.
And I think that's the big thing. Like with Jim Ross, this is the reason why I loved him, because
I
every
loved him
week
with
he built
Lawler.
that relationship with us on television every week. And like with a lot of us, and I was even just watching a Jim Ross interview recently with Chris Van Vliet, which, you know, Insight, one of my favorite wrestling podcasts out there, recommend you guys to go listen to those interviews. Jim Ross even said, like, who would have thought, like, somebody, you know, that, like, had issues would, you know, be in the position that, you know, he was in today.
Exactly,
And
man. Like,
that's the thing. Like, he just built that emotional connection with us every week on TV with Jerry the King Lawler. And the reason why they were such a great duo was because Jim Ross, the best, you know, color commentator out there, he can call the matches play by play. Jerry the King Lawler had the personality. He was the heel. He was the character, puppies, and all that good stuff. And he would get under Jim Ross's, you know, skin. But they had that perfect chemistry where they would balance each other out and they would be able to have fun at the same time as doing their job.
my favorite,
Absolutely, dude,
my favorite team outside of JR and Lawler
was
one of
Taz
my
and Michael
fa-
Cole
one-
for me.
Taz and Michael Cole for you. But one of my favorites was when Jerry Lawler left WWE for that short time, and they had Paul Heyman with JR.
I actually did really like those two together. I know a lot of people didn't really like Paul Heyman on commentary. I actually enjoyed that.
I
Paul
enjoyed
Heyman's
it
the shit.
because that was WrestleMania. That was around the WrestleMania 17, and like you know
2001.
that was when you know WWE was thriving, bro. I still say WrestleMania 17 was the greatest WrestleMania to ever be produced.
And, you know, with this Jim Ross meet and greet, I actually ended up getting a couple things signed. I actually got this 8x10, an old classic, you know, WWE promo picture right there of good old JR. This was during Ruthless Aggression era. And the next thing I ended up getting signed, because in case you can't tell if you're
Ric Flair don't
watching
got shit on that drip.
got a bunch of wrestling figures here. I ended up getting his AEW figure signed as well.
Hell yeah.
I love this figure, man, and I never thought in a million years I would get that signed from
I
one of the greats.
I hate one thing about that though. There's a big thing that's wrong with that figure you just hung up. You just hung up.
WWE Hall of Famer.
Yeah. On an AEW figure, you should.
You see that? I was okay with that because here's the thing, if Jim Ross had a Mattel figure, like in like the packaging and everything, because the only Mattel figure they made was a Build-A-Figure.
Yeah, WWE
which,
never
like, you would
produced
have
a figure.
to get 4 figures, 4 Elite figures, and they would have parts to the Jim Ross figure. So
Yeah.
if you opened it up, you would build it. I do a lot of those on my Best One Donnie channel.
I was
but
wondering
with-
what that was from because I've seen a lot of those where it's like different parts from different people, and I never understood it. So
Yep,
thank you
and
for
then
that
you pretty
insight.
much build a figure, and they usually do like managers and stuff like that, which is pretty cool.
Okay.
But with Jim Ross, if they did have a Mattel Elite figure of him, I would absolutely 100% get that figure signed, but they never did that. AEW, on the other hand, they did that for all the commentators, which is cool. They have
Fuck yeah.
Excalibur, they have Taz, they also have Tony Schiavone, and they even have Jim Ross.
Does AEW have like wrestling Taz and not just commentator?
Just commentator Taz
Well,
right now.
they gotta do a legend series for him then.
Maybe, man. They do this thing called Luminaires Collectors.
Okay.
So they do that, like they just did one recently for Chris Jericho as like the Lionheart when he was a rookie.
Fuck yeah.
So they've been doing that, which is pretty cool. But now, you know, diving into the highlight of the week before we get into our topics for this week. In the wrestling world, man, there's been a lot of crazy things going on. We saw the cinematic ending, the Friday Night SmackDown last Friday with, you know, Roman Reigns and Jimmy, and having Solo hit the spike on Jimmy, and now trying to see where Jay is, which Maybe we find out this Friday, but we're recording this on a Wednesday, so we don't know.
We'll find out. Obviously it's part of the Bloodline story. It's going to be big. And Jay out here making mad decisions. He's been pressured the most out of everybody in this Bloodline. Like if anybody's gotten abused the most, it's fucking Jay. Jay has taken a lot. So the fact that Jimmy snapped this quick, Jay's explosion is going to be different, which is I feel like is why he's physically built different. I think eventually we're going to get main event Uso again. I think eventually we're gonna, in some capacity, he is going to go singles soon.
You know what I think they're gonna do? I think at SummerSlam they're gonna have Roman and Jimmy, right, in a one-on-one match.
Ooh, you don't think it'll be Money in the Bank?
I think at Money in the Bank we could possibly be getting maybe the Usos versus Solo and Roman.
I think so too.
I don't see Roman versus Jimmy happening at Money in the Bank, but I mean, you never know. But either way, whatever event that it's gonna be phenomenal. But I would have. Do you guys think now? Would I do this possibly, depending on like how the story progresses? Do you guys think Roman is dumb enough to add a stipulation to where Jay is a special referee in that match?
Oh yeah, I can see that
WWE is
happening.
not thinking about it, not with a special ref. I think Jay will be there, but I don't see them like thinking, "Oh, we're gonna put him as a special ref."
See, I could actually see that happening because
I
that's
miss
probably
that
the most.
stipulation.
I could see that being the most, like honestly, the most horrible way to make someone make a decision, especially if he's beating his fucking ass in front of him, like to the T, and then not only beats the shit out of him, but manipulates the situation by beating the shit out of him with weapons and making him not disqualify him. That is going to throw him over the fucking edge, bro. That is going to throw him over the edge because at that point, it's pure manipulation. There's no love there.
So here's my
I
thought
could see that,
on
Dan.
the whole Jimmy and Jay Uso thing, because I do want to see them both as single wrestlers. They've been a tag team their whole career. I really want to see what could happen here. And I think with Jimmy making the move before Jay, this gives Jimmy something, which, is going to make things very interesting.
Oh, for
the
sure.
only way I see these guys splitting up is the Roman Reigns situation, because right now Jay is in the middle of the Bloodline and his brother. And if Jay, I think, super kicks Roman and, is on his brother's side, I don't see the Usos breaking up. But here's where things can change. I think if, Jay helps Roman and ends up, aligning himself with the Bloodline because of his loyalty, to the tribal chief, super kicks Jimmy, that's going to make Jimmy a mega baby face. And I think eventually Jay's going to get turned on from Roman, and then Jay can go off on his own, tries to get back with his brother, but his brother wants nothing to do with him. And there you go. You can build something towards WrestleMania Jimmy versus Jay.
My thing is, I wouldn't mind that. But my thing is, and WWE has this issue in the women's division too, lack of tag teams. The Usos are arguably one of the greatest tag teams to ever, wrestle, pretty much.
It's just fatigue.
It's fatigue, but I don't know. Like, obviously they want to make.
I'd split them up.
They want to make the tag titles a big deal, but they were the main event of WrestleMania Night 1. They don't have many tag teams, and therefore, if you don't have many
here's the
tag teams,
thing.
you shouldn't have tag team titles.
The way I see it,
they have been establishing more tag teams, I'm noticing.
The way I can see Jay splitting off from the Usos and Jimmy still being okay is after the whole Roman thing is said and done, I don't see Jay necessarily turning on Jimmy at this point, but I can still see him walking away. Because if you think about it, eventually we're going to get Solo versus Roman. And that's what's going to implode the whole fucking thing. And that's going to cost him everything. I think everybody is going to be a part of Roman's downfall. And that's what they're aiming at. And I think eventually, once it's all said and done and the dust settles, Jay's going to walk away because he doesn't want to continue another bloodline story. There's just way too much bad blood there. And he needs to go off on his own. And at that point, you can form Jimmy and Solo. And then have Jay go on his own.
But here's the thing.
Put him on
here's
another
the thing
brand.
that I think is going to happen here. Roman Reigns, realistically, I know, Danny, you've expressed that you want him to lose the title at SummerSlam. I think realistically, Roman is holding that title until Mania 40. And I think they're going to find some way for Cody Rhodes to go to Mania 40 after he goes through all the hardship, and he's going to beat Roman for the title and get that moment.
I can see it being another Daniel Bryan and Edge situation
But
where he
here's
ends up
the
getting into a
difference
triple
at
threat.
WrestleMania 40 than 39. By the time we get to WrestleMania 40, Roman's going to have nobody. I think Solo Sikoa will be turning on Roman towards the Royal Rumble, and I think it'll be Solo versus Roman probably at the Rumble. And that's where they're going to, end things. Jay is going to make his decision by SummerSlam, I think. And we're really going to see, the downfall of the Bloodline, which we're already seeing. But I think at WrestleMania, it's going to be Roman by himself versus Cody, and he's going to have no help. And that's how the American Nightmare gets the championship.
This is going to be a bit of a hot take. And you guys are definitely, I know for a fact you guys are not going to agree with me.
Oh, shit.
And that's fine.
Okay, well, it's a hot take for a reason.
It's going to be one of the hottest takes I've ever said, man.
I'm not going to be surprised if we disagree.
Oh, shit. All right. Hold up. Where's my shit? I need a stress relief. Hold on.
There we go.
Okay. Yep.
My thing was freaking stuck.
I had to get my fix in real quick because I don't know. I don't know where this is going.
I'm not 100% sold on Cody Rhodes beating Roman Reigns anymore. He's lost so much star power since he lost at WrestleMania. He's in a mindless feud with Brock Lesnar. We still have no idea why they're feuding. They still haven't given us any kind of explanation as to why this is happening.
Hey,
outside of Brock Lesnar being upset that he wasn't in the main event.
I think we need to take another hit.
I hope that Roman beats Cody. I hope it happens again, and I don't think Cody's the guy, man. I don't know. I just feel like he's lost a lot of his luster since the defeat at WrestleMania. And
Daddy, you are wrong.
The match at WrestleMania 39. This has nothing to do with his fan reaction. Absolutely not.
I was about to say.
But the match at WrestleMania 40 is gonna be nowhere as big as the match was at WrestleMania 39, because WrestleMania 39, it was the first time we seen it. Cody versus Roman. Cody finally being in this spot that he's wanted to be in forever. And now that Roman beat Cody then, you're going to have him go to next year's WrestleMania. Will the match be good? More than likely. The match at WrestleMania 39 was fucking awesome. But the match is not going to be anywhere as big or as epic as WrestleMania 39.
It's going to be bigger. Trust me.
I don't.
They're building this.
We've already seen the match, so therefore it automatically is not going to be big.
All right, I'm gonna.
So Stone Cold. Wait, hold on, real quick before you tag in. Stone Cold and Rock. You love the Attitude Era so much. Yep. Every time they stepped in the ring, always a classic. Didn't they main event 3 WrestleManias?
This is not This is not the Attitude Era though. This is a completely different time.
Don't matter. They main event WrestleMania. All right, Ben, I'll let you say what you got to say.
So I'm going to step in the middle, and I can agree with both of you. I can see both of your views 100%. I can see where Dan is coming from. They haven't explained why this whole thing is happening with Brock. It does seem kind of pointless, but at the same time, I can see why they're doing it, to give Cody more base to his substance before giving him the big one, because it would have seemed like a cop-out. It would have just seemed like a fucking cop-out to just give it to him. It's like, oh, everybody saw this shit coming. It's just giving them what they want rather than telling a full-bred story to make it a real underdog type shit. However, I do think there is a way to make it even bigger than 39 was. I do think that there is enough star power and base there, especially not only with how Cody has been. The dude's built like a fucking tank now. I don't know if y'all noticed, but dude is on a fucking another level physically right now. The dude is not the same Cody Rhodes we had. He is fucking this is a new person as far as I'm concerned. I do think that in this time before this next Mania, there's gonna be something. There's gonna be something that is going to set this off, that's going to be a make it or break it. But I do have faith that they can finagle a way to make this huge.
Here's what I do
This
think
way,
is
I
going
just
to
want to add
happen.
one more thing.
What's up?
And then, I'll stop here with this.
Yeah.
My
go
final
ahead.
thing that I do want to add with this whole thing, like, I totally understand why, some of us don't want to see a Cody Rhodes versus Roman too, because the first match was a 5-star classic. It was a
Fucking great.
fantastic match. But now, here's why I think WWE made the right decision. I know a lot of us were upset with what happened
Oh,
night
for sure.
2.
It's
But
plastered.
me having 3 weeks, away from content creating and, pro wrestling, it made me realize something. And with Cody Rhodes, if he did win, because weren't we all upset that Cody Rhodes entered the Rumble at number 30? And remind you, after the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view with the torn pec, he was out of action for a while. So it felt like they were going to push him into like that John Cena type role. And I think if Cody Rhodes ended up beating Roman, I think after a while, because Cody was not going to lose the title right away. I think after a while, all right, here we go. Man, I'm losing my thought here. But here's what would happen with Cody Rhodes. People would get repetitive of him eventually because of how easy he got the championship. And then the same situation would have happened to him that happened in AEW, where the crowd tried to turn their backs on him. And I think with Cody going through this hardship for a year, they're building towards something bigger. And I think when Cody gets that world championship, there's not going to be that situation that happened in AEW because people aren't going to be sick of him.
I think it's not only that, but they're also chiseling him out because he's going to be the next person that takes the belt. And if he beats Roman, they're going to expect the guy that beat Roman to put on stellar matches and to put on fucking classics every time he laces his boots. Because a 1,000-day reign ending is no big feat. Yes, you fucking beat him. You got the title. You slayed the championship. You finished the story. What now? And that's the important question. And they want to make him face people like Brock Lesnar 3 times and make you believe that he did this shit, because he's going to have to do it again and prove it as a champion. And if they just handed him the title, who the fuck is going to believe that shit?
We've seen this almost friggin' 40 years ago with this father.
Exactly.
I'm not.
Like, who the fuck is going to believe it if he just takes the title off Roman but hasn't faced people like Brock Lesnar and made it believable?
And that's the last thing I'm going to say about that.
know?
But Danny, I'll let you say what you got to
Yeah,
say.
I'm sorry.
I wish there was a story to it.
Of course.
There's a bunch of things you could do with,
We're in the middle of it.
Brock and Cody, you know what I mean? But they haven't explained outside of Brock Lesnar being upset that he wasn't in the main event. And that's the reason why he attacked Cody and everything, which makes no fucking sense to begin with.
Here's the thing. I'm looking at it from the perspective of, I didn't enjoy their feud going to Backlash, but I think the whole color thing at Backlash and then going from Backlash to Night of Champions, I think that this storyline with Cody and Brock is very entertaining, I think.
Oh, absolutely.
Now.
I
do agree with you. There's not that why.
Seeing how the story developed between Cody and Roman, right? And I partially even had an issue with that because we went weeks and weeks and weeks without seeing Cody and Roman in the same ring together up until WrestleMania. We only got like maybe 3 interactions till the WrestleMania match, which I have a huge issue with.
And he didn't even get a fucking rematch, and he didn't even he just got his ass beat.
Apparently, WWE got rid of like automatic rematch clauses.
See, here's the thing though. Like he didn't get a rematch, and 2, the last time we saw Roman and him in the ring together, they were about to have a tag team match, and Brock just beat the shit out of him, and Roman watched, and there was no mention of it after.
Exactly.
It was just done.
Cody has not mentioned anything
cord.
about the Bloodline, Roman, WrestleMania, nothing. There has been no mention of
because he's focused on Brock.
Yeah, but still, you would think if he still had eyes on Roman's
we
title,
could
he would
beat a dead horse for the rest of the night for the next 45 minutes over this shit.
Here's
but
what I
at
do
the
think.
same,
I think
You're
LA
still
Knight's
going?
gonna win. I think LA Knight's gonna win Money in the Bank. He's gonna want to challenge Seth Rollins. He's gonna get transferred to Raw. Cody's gonna get transferred to SmackDown, and that's gonna rejuvenize the feud between Roman and
Shoosh!
So our highlight of the week was the whole Jimmy Uso and Roman Reigns 1,000-day celebration.
Yes.
Mhm.
So guys, before we dive into the topics for this week, we'll be right back with more We Are Wrestling Podcast 60. Saturday, June 17th, 2023, both Captain's Corner and Zombie Hideout are bringing professional wrestling back to the New England area with the Wrestling Classic 3, which will be a wrestling convention bringing in some of the best wrestlers throughout the years at this event in Springfield, Mass. at the South End Community Center. You can meet Hall of Famers Kurt Angle, Lex Luger, DDP, AEW stars, The Guns, and so many more classic stars to be announced on Saturday, June 17th. And for the first time ever, We Are Wrestling. We're going to be a vendor. We're going to be working with Zombie Hideout and Captain's Corner with this event. Best One Donnie has had the opportunity to go to both the Wrestling Classic 1 and 2. And let me tell you, the Wrestling Classic 3 is going to be like no other. And if you want to, have an opportunity to meet some of the best in the business, they will be in Springfield, Mass. on Saturday, June 17th. South End Community Center in Springfield, Mass. Also, the We Are Wrestling team will be there with a table. We'll be having merchandise, and we'll also be giving away some stuff as well. And of course, you already know, we'll be vlogging as well. You're definitely not going to want to miss this event. Get your tickets now. We're back, and before we dive into our first topic, We Are Wrestling, we want to send our love, our condolences to Iron Sheik and, his family and all the fans of the Iron Sheik and all the old school fans during, this time.
And Hulk Hogan.
Because
he's
the Iron Sheik
about it.
couldn't stand the jabroni, the Hulk Hogans. But our thoughts and prayers do go out to Iron Sheik's family and stuff during this time. One of the greatest heels in old school wrestling that paved the way for wrestling today.
I'm going to miss his explosive tweets, man.
I'm going to miss him every day. How many times he said
Bro.
fuck?
Oh my God! Did you guys see?
His tweets are colorful.
This is on topic a little bit. But do you guys see his last tweet that he posted?
Fuck the fires or something.
Fuck the wildfires 20 hours ago. June 5th, Iron Sheik tweeted, "Fuck the Apple Vision Pro headset."
Wait, what?
On June 5th, he was like, "Fuck the Apple Vision Pro headset."
Oh my God.
Who let this man have a smartphone?
This man was out here wilding for his last days, dude.
On June 3rd, he was like, "Wizard of Oz, go fuck yourself."
Yeah, I got one. Ready? Wait, no, I got this. Wait, Danny, let me have my moment here. All right, my Iron Sheik tweet of the century is this. Ready? Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Go.
Go where?
You guys supposed to say go who?
Go who?
Go fuck yourself, you dumb son of a bitch. All capitals, too.
What the fuck was wrong with this
On
guy?
June 3rd, he said, "My Little Pony, go fuck yourself." This dude had a feud with everybody.
He preferred My Little Camel.
He said this. This is the last one I fucking read. He said, Hulk Hogan retirement match. You owe me big time, jabroni. I break your fucking neck, you howdy doody Hollywood blonde dumb son of a bitch.
Wow.
I'm done reading them. So let's get into We Are Wrestling Podcast episode 60. Our first topic, according to Fightful, AEW superstar CM Punk has taken a liking to the work of Switchblade Jay White, one of Danny's favorite wrestlers, and that he could be an early opponent or program with CM Punk along with the Bullet Club Gold. How do you feel about this potential feud in AEW?
So I'm going to keep it short and sweet. Oh, okay. I was just saying I could just go real quick because, I don't really have much base in AEW shit, but So in terms of just size alone, they're very neck and neck. They're in the same weight class, so you could put on some stellar matches there. They can carry each other's weight, 100%. That's no doubt about it. And, obviously CM Punk is very open to working with a lot of talent, and especially ones that work, have worked in multiple different promotions overseas and have experienced different things. So it's always different getting in with a different technical kind of wrestler, So they both have the charisma. And, obviously CM Punk is a needle mover, and that could help elevate and put Jay White even over in AEW. That's a really good money match. I would fucking personally watch it, And, as for working with them, pretty soon down the line, I think that's pretty sweet. I think we're in for a treat.
So I don't know a lot of Jay White's history. I am a really big fan of him. I've enjoyed him way back, I think before Forbidden Door last year, when he first made his first appearance in AEW. And then I slowly started to watch a lot of his stuff. I think he had a match at Wrestle Kingdom this past January, if I remember correctly, which was a really good match. So I am a fan of him. CM Punk has been known, even from when he first came into AEW. His first feud was with Darby Allin. He's really into working with new talent. He's really into putting guys over. And a lot of people are saying, oh, Jay White's buried. Jay White's this. Jay White's that. He should have never went to AEW. But I feel like him having that momentum that he needs to feud with somebody like CM Punk, and have like a really big stellar match. Maybe we get Bullet Club Gold. Not that crazy about the name, but whatever. Bullet Club Gold versus CM Punk and FTR in a trios match. There's a lot of things. There's a lot of different things we could see. We could see somebody else coming over to AEW and joining up with Juice Robinson and Switchblade Jay White. So I do think Switchblade feuding with somebody like CM Punk, somebody of the caliber of CM Punk, because a lot of people have a lot of different things they could say about Punk. But regardless, the dude, he's very popular. You know what I mean? He knows what the fuck he's doing.
Here's
and
what
I feel like giving Jay White that momentum that he needs to build himself up, I mean, it'll be fucking amazing.
And I think, for Jay White working with a guy like CM Punk, who is, well known, I think that really will help Jay White in the long run, because everybody knows Jay White is one of the top guys in New Japan. He's very popular with the Japanese crowd. And in the U.S., he's never really had this opportunity. And I know WWE, they expressed interest in him. Impact expressed interest. And AEW ended up, signing him. And I will admit, I have not really been the biggest fan of his run so far. But I think working with a guy like CM Punk could definitely help him. But here's what I worry about him working with CM Punk. Because the thing that I didn't like with CM Punk is the whole putting talent over. That's the only thing I kind of disagree with you on, because with Darby Allin versus CM Punk comes back a couple of years, later, like years away from the ring, and Darby Allin, who, was very hot at the time, very popular, coming off a TNT title run, you have CM Punk beat him. And I feel like that momentum for Darby Allin hasn't really been the same since losing that big match to CM Punk. And CM Punk and MJF, they made it work. And I think at the end, CM Punk winning that feud, it made sense. Because MJF can make anything make sense, honestly, because he has that old school mindset. But CM Punk has worked with a lot of guys. And usually I feel like CM Punk is the one putting himself over, if that makes any sense. I feel like, and that's what I worry about Jay White. I feel like he's going to beat Jay White, and that's going to take some things away from Switchblade.
I mean, you can't necessarily say Darby, didn't gain anything from feuding or having his match with CM Punk. Multiple time TNT champion. Even after that, he was just he was just one of the main event guys. He was just one of the main event guys on one of the biggest pay-per-views that they have this year, Double or Nothing. So
one of the most lackluster pay-per-views.
It was lackluster. It wasn't the greatest, but that match stole the fucking show, bro.
It was a very good match. I will give you that.
So, I mean, with everything that has happened with Darby Allin over the last year and a half, 2 years, you can't say that him feuding with somebody like CM Punk, because it gave people more eyes on Darby. You
I'll
know,
give
I'm
you
pretty
that.
sure.
That's
I'm pretty sure before
that's a good
that,
take.
before he feuded with Punk, people just looked at him as like an emo, skater kid. And it wasn't until he feuded with CM Punk and had that match to where people really like looked at him like, even though you can still look like $1,000,000 and still lose the match. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I don't know. I just feel like the momentum for Darby, it didn't really go far after that because then, he wrestled MJF. MJF beat him with the headlock takeover, which I still think to this day, the person that should take the AEW title off of MJF is Darby Allin because of the history that they have. But I just feel like Darby Allin, he keeps losing important matches, and I feel like eventually that's going to take more and more away from him when I feel like he deserves a lot more.
I feel like that's because of Darby Allin, though, because Darby Allin, he has other ventures like after at the beginning of next year, he's gonna be taking like 2-3 months off of AEW because he wants to climb Mount Everest. Like he's into pro wrestling, but he likes to do other things.
What do you feel about the whole Bullet Club Gold shit?
I don't like it.
I don't like the name
because we were getting hella trailed out there, so I just wanted to kind of grease the wheels back on.
Nah, you did good. You greased them well, buddy.
I'm actually really looking. I think Jay White and CM Punk could tear the fucking roof off. I really do.
I think so too. And the only good thing about Bullet Club Gold, in my opinion, is that Juice Robinson is actually being used properly now. Like he's actually getting more TV time. And Jay White, I guess it gives him something to do. But I feel like Jay White can succeed on his own without Bullet Club Gold, but I do think it does help Juice Robinson out.
Jay White's entire career has been about Bullet Club, though. You know what I mean?
That's true, but I don't know. Like, I want to see Jay White eventually get to that New Japan main event status. Like, we saw him in New Japan. He was well known from, casuals, even knew who he was because of his historic run in that promotion.
I definitely agree, and his how he's been booked lately has been very lackluster. I kind of do like what he's been doing with Ricky Starks or whatever, but we're gonna have to see how it goes. But I do think if there's one person that can help him, it's feuding with CM Punk.
And they better have a singles match: CM Punk versus Jay White. I need to see that match.
I think that should be one of the big matches at one of the big pay-per-views. I don't think that match is too big to. Especially if you want to have, that much more importance to it, it can't just be on regular TV.
And honestly, like with CM Punk, coming back, I still hope that we do get the Samoa Joe versus CM Punk feud that they were, that we covered a few weeks ago with the reports. But honestly, I would not mind a CM Punk versus Jay White. I'm cool with it.
It's gonna be good. It's going to be good stuff, man.
So our next topic for this week's episode of the podcast, we have an NXT topic, which normally we never cover NXT stuff because nothing interesting happens over there since Black and Gold. Well, Bron Breakker, one of the top NXT stars, called out the World Heavyweight Champion, Seth freaking Rollins, to a match for the World Heavyweight title on NXT at the end of its program this past Tuesday. How do you feel about a Bron Breakker versus Seth Rollins match?
I don't care for it. I don't care for it. I don't think Bron Breakker is as good as half the people says he is. He's another Goldberg, Scott Steiner fucking fusion, and I'm bored. I'm bored, man. If I'm being completely honest, he's just another big jack dude that's strong as hell. That is just, again, another Bron Breakker, another fucking Goldberg and Scott Steiner fucking fusion. So I just it makes it interesting for his main roster debut. Cool, but
the match would be on NXT, not the main roster.
See, then it just, where this avenue is going. So yeah. Go ahead, Dan.
I feel like the reason why they're doing this, and I've been saying this, and I think even you guys agree. WWE fans do not watch NXT.
Nope.
Most of WWE's audience that watch SmackDown and Raw, they're just casuals. They periodically watch, throw it on. If WWE's in the area and the tickets are relatively cheap, they'll go to a show, spend, waste a couple hours and have something to fucking do. I feel like
Wait,
this
before you give your
is
opinion, Danny, I just have to say this. Being at Monday Night Raw, speaking of casuals, I was sitting next to a couple casuals during Monday Night Raw, and me and this other guy, we were going back and forth about like AEW guys. Like we started talking about Kenny Omega, and this person goes, "Who's Kenny Omega?"
my point exactly.
You can continue.
I feel like this is their way of getting more viewers on NXT. Their views have been absolutely like, horrendous. And I heard that even they're really upset about the lack of viewers that they had for NXT Battleground because they decided to have it on the same night as AEW Double or Nothing. Maybe they'll learn the lesson and it won't happen again, but
I heard they're happy about the show overall.
They're happy about the produced show. They're not happy about the lack of viewership. The viewers were not. They didn't have as many viewers as they normally would. And apparently only 3,000 people showed up to the show. Whatever. I don't fucking know. There's a lot.
Well, that's what happens when you try to have a show the same day as the other one. Because if it wasn't the same day as Double or Nothing, I would have been in Lowell, Mass, for that show.
More than likely. But this is their way of getting more eyes on NXT. So you can't really blame them for wanting to have. I do think it's. Now the question is, does it diminish the title? Does it diminish the title that Rollins has? Having it on NXT?
Absolutely not. And here's why. Seth friggin' Rollins is a defending world champion. And honestly, I really like this move for a lot of reasons. And, one of the big reasons why I really like this move is because Seth Rollins right now is one of the top guys in the WWE. He is, the face of this generation. And I think Bron Breakker is going to be one of the top, guys within, the next 10 years or so in the WWE. I really see that, main event guy in him. I think that he has a lot of promise, and I think that this is going to be a historic match that we're going to be looking back at years from now when eventually Bron Breakker, will get the torch and he will have that brass ring that Seth Rollins has right now. And another reason why I really like this match as well, because Seth friggin' Rollins is coming home. And NXT was his home before, going to WWE with the Shield. He was the very first NXT world champion, and it has a special place in his heart. And I think this does help WWE out because it is going to bring in some ratings for, whatever NXT they have this, match between Rollins and Breakker. And I think that this is a great way to get more eyes on NXT because I think there are some good, most bad, but there are some breakout talent over there that I think need some more eyes. And I just think that, overall, this will be great for Bron Breakker, too.
Cool.
I mean, will I watch it? More than likely. Just, because I'm a fan of Seth Rollins. You know what I mean? I do like Bron Breakker, but I feel like they're booking him to be another Brock Lesnar. And, he just looks like a generic, creative wrestler guy from, WWE 2K or whatever.
We've got
so it's just one of those things. This is definitely like a ratings ploy to get more viewers on NXT. So I wouldn't really think too much about it. Rollins is definitely not losing the title to fucking Bron Breakker on NXT though.
Won't happen.
We were going down that avenue. Yep.
But guys, we'll be right back with more We Are Wrestling podcast. Are you looking for wrestling content? Well, We Are Wrestling provides everything pro wrestling. The best One Donnie, Danny Huckins, and the Lone Ranger Ben are wrestling marks like you who love this sport. We Are Wrestling has it all when it comes to wrestling content. We have different podcasts, vlogs, reactions, full wrestling matches, live pay-per-view watch-alongs, interviews, predictions, and so much more. Only on We Are Wrestling. What are you waiting for? Subscribe and become a We Are Wrestling maniac now. We're back, and every week on the We Are Wrestling podcast, we do a thing called Comment of the Week. And in order to become a Comment of the Week, all you have to do is go to the We Are Wrestling YouTube channel and comment on any video to get your comment featured. And this week, man, these comments, they're getting really good. because once again, I have not one, not two, but 3 comments that I really want to show you guys and kind of discuss a little bit, get into it. This is one of my favorite segments on the We Are Wrestling podcast. And our first comment of the week is from one of our OGs, at Alex Johnson.
God damn it.
The biggest Liv Morgan fan out there. And he commented this, at We Are Wrestling. And this was, during the Dominic, reaction, one of my Dominic reactions. He said, turning Dominic Mysterio heel has been one of the best decisions ever in the WWE. What's your thoughts on that?
Yes. And it's funny, we were talking about it before the camera started rolling, before Dan was even in the room, that fucking Dominic, we called his heel turn very early on, said that kid was going to turn heel, he was going to fucking steal the show, he was going to thrive. He's doing it. Dude has massive heat, and it's great.
I like the fact that they sort of took him away from just being, that's Rey Mysterio's kid. You know what I mean? That's Rey Mysterio's kid. That's all he was known for. You know what I mean? Now, he's Dom, man. He's Dominic
His
Mysterio,
selling is fucking excellent, too.
Nuclear heat. Get me a fan when I'm watching Dominic. And I want to say this about that comment, Alex Johnson. Being at Monday Night Raw this past Monday, there's a lot of old school wrestling guys out there. There's a lot of people that keep saying, oh, WWE keeps adding the booze into the production. That is far from the truth. Because I was there in Hartford, Connecticut at the XL Center, and let me tell you, that freaking building felt like there was a fire going on when Dominic would grab that mic and start speaking. Even after the show, there were people trying to attack his car. That is old school, legitimate heat. Man, I have a fever right now talking about Dominic Mysterio. My
got a fever,
God.
103. Hell yeah.
But that's right, man. Dominic Mysterio right now being, turning him heel was one of the best decisions they ever made. Absolutely agree with you. 100% Alex Johnson. Our next comment of the week is at Aaron Yeager, 3956.
Aaron Yeager. Attack on Titan fan, let's go.
Man, and this was the Jim Ross vlog. He said, man, that vlog was a slobber knocker.
Hell yeah, dude. I saw that. Shit's awesome.
Great comment. And our last comment of the week is from at David Netterwald, 1846. And he commented this.
Nice handle, bro.
Here it is. So the video that this was on was the Don Callis and Takeshita promo that happened. This was after Double or Nothing when Takeshita and Don Callis, they helped the Blackpool Combat Club win the Anarchy in the Arena match. And he got a lot of heat for his promo. And this is what David said. This was absolutely amazing. Heel's dream of getting this kind of heat from a crowd. My God. The booing was so loud that I barely heard him speak. In fact, those boos were so loud, I think that they would have shattered glass if it went on long enough. This was not normal booing of a heel. This was hatred. It was insane.
This is hatred. That's good. That's good. That's how you know the job's being sold really well. Any kind of heat like that, if you can generate that much hate where they genuinely want to hurt you, you're doing your job well, son. You're one of the best. But at the same time, it's also a safety hazard, too, because wrestling fans are fucking insane. We know it firsthand.
Yes, we do. Danny, how did you feel about that promo last Wednesday?
Yeah, he couldn't even speak, bro. Don Callis, man, people are saying a lot of different things, saying how, saying who gets more heat, Don Callis or Dominic, I think it's almost tied, Of course,
yes.
Like you saw Dominic, get that reaction live. We haven't necessarily seen Don Callis get it live. You never know what's piped in and what's not, you know what I mean? So, yeah.
All I know is both of those freaking promos, whenever they get the mic, I feel like they are not piped in. They're legitimate. You can tell the crowd is invested.
Exactly, man. And that's what I like to see. I like seeing crowds get invested or whatever because it makes the show is that much more enjoyable. I gotta say, man, WWE gets a lot of flack for, their audiences being mediocre or whatever. Hartford, Connecticut, man, showed the fuck up on Monday night.
Yes, they did. And before the show, all of these freaking kids and everybody's going, woo! Woo! And I kept yelling. I said, you better keep that fucking energy when we go live, because we need more Premier Live events in this area. But yeah, no, overall, man, that Don Callis and Takeshita promo, I loved it. I needed a fan. I love when these heels get nuclear heat. But congratulations to all three, comment of the weeks. In order to enter, all you have to do is just comment on a We Are Wrestling YouTube video. And we love doing this.
Yeah.
We love interacting with the We Are Wrestling Maniacs. We love just picking funny and just legitimate comments. But now, getting back into the topics for We Are Wrestling 60, according to Wrestling Observer Radio, Brock Lesnar versus Cody Rhodes 3 will be taking place at SummerSlam in Detroit, Michigan, with a stipulation that we have not seen in a very long time in WWE. And before we give our thoughts on, what stipulation do we think it's going to be, the one match that won't be happening is the dog collar match. They did, turn that idea down.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
what do you guys think number 3 is going to be?
I would have it 3 stages of hell. I would have it 3 stages of hell match.
I'm with that.
That's how you can make it fucking, at least, somewhat enjoyable.
End it with the fucking bang.
And
That's all I
that's the
gotta
funny thing. Even, before this topic, I even, said that for the longest time. I think Cody Rhodes versus Brock 3 needs to be 3 stages of hell. I think that would be a very interesting match. And I feel like this definitely could be a possibility that we get this, because who competed in the most 3 stages of hell matches? The one booking the show, Triple H, baby.
Yep.
And I think that we're getting 3 stages of hell with Cody and Brock, and it's going to be great.
That's going to be fucking nuts, man.
I think the first fall should be just a regular wrestling match. The second fall, maybe a Falls Count Anywhere match. But what do you guys think if it goes to a third fall? Maybe cage match? Maybe I don't know. What do you guys
Hell
think?
in a Cell. Check out that last one. It's 3 stages of hell. The last one should just be Hell in a Cell.
So, damn. I think that the first one should be a regular match. The second one, I would like to see a First Blood for the second one, even though I feel like we're not going to get that. That would be pretty cool. And then the third one, I would do like a steel cage.
Okay. Yeah, I agree.
Good. Sounds good to me.
Dude, 100% raise the stakes every single match. Raise the stakes.
You got it, man. You got it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm excited to see like how they execute this if it does happen, because WWE, they have been taking some matches from, the Attitude Era. They've been taking, some of the old school matches from WCW, and they kind of add their own twist to it. So I'm kind of curious to see like how they do a 3 stages of that match in 2023.
You want to know what else I would do for that match? I would have Paul Heyman come out. Sort of play the distraction card. Everybody knows the issue that him and Brock have.
Nope,
and it'll...
Not right now, nope.
No. But if Paul Heyman comes out, it'll get Cody's mindset back on Roman Reigns after this last match with Brock Lesnar.
But then it's going to show a whole fucking angle.
The night after SummerSlam on Raw.
Maybe, because fucking that's going to throw the whole fucking thing off. If it's right away, it's going to throw the whole fucking thing off.
Because Paul Heyman's already been saying, I haven't talked to Brock Lesnar. I haven't been involved in this. So it would just add, that much more depth to whatever the fuck they're trying to do.
I feel like they should just keep Paul Heyman invested in the Bloodline storyline. Yeah. Let's not, get too carried away here.
Yeah,
let's
then
keep
you're back and forth
in that storyline. We don't need Paul in 2 big headlining storylines.
But we do need to get Cody back on track when this match
and we
ends.
will.
And we will.
You don't need Paul Heyman.
Right after SummerSlam, when the man's broken in half, he's going to come out, get ready to call out Roman, but something's going to happen. Don't know what it's going to be. We're not even there yet.
I would have Cody get taken off of TV for a couple weeks. Even though he wins, he's battered and beat up. Have him take off of TV for a couple weeks. And that's what gets the balls rolling. You know, Paul can start talking a bunch of shit.
You know, I'm not going to lie. When he did have the broken arm, I was kind of hoping he was going to be off TV for a couple weeks.
Mm-hmm.
But they found a way to, keep him on TV and use the cast as a weapon, which is actually pretty smart.
Yeah, he can't even, he can't even lift his arm up during his entrance, but yeah, he can take and fucking beat people in the head with it. It makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. But, yeah. Is there anything else you want to say, Ben, before you have to go?
At the moment, Jimmy is better than Jay.
Jimmy is better than Jay, motherfucker.
Right now, dude, until you can prove me otherwise, because that shit took me for a fucking whirl. But no, other than that, just have a good rest of the show, my guys. All of you wrestling maniacs.
And before you go, Ben, just want to say we appreciate having you on the special We Are Wrestling 60. It feels great to have the big three back in some capacity. Man. You were here for an hour. We understand you were up all night because of your third shift. So go get some rest, buddy.
Burnt. Thank you, man. You guys have a great rest of the show. And to the We Are Wrestling Maniacs, take it easy. Peace out, guys.
Take it easy.
What is going on, everybody? Danny Huckins here, man. You guys are watching the We Are Wrestling podcast. I want to be acknowledged!
So our last topic before we get into the main event topic for We Are Wrestling 60, AEW Forbidden Door 2 is stacking up. And AEW this past week made two huge announcements. We have two headliners. We have Bryan Danielson versus Okada and Kenny Omega versus Will Ospreay confirmed for AEW Forbidden Door 2. How do you feel about the two headliners for this stacked event?
Bro, Kenny Omega versus Will Ospreay, one of the greatest matches I've ever seen in my life. At Wrestle Kingdom 17 back in January, bro. Even though obviously it was in Japan or whatever, so that match didn't happen until probably like 4 or 5 a.m. Our time. That really, I was invested. I was invested what was going on. Bro, they did so many gnarly spots in that match. I can't imagine what they're going to be doing at Forbidden Door. Holy shit, bro. Take my fucking money, man.
I love the matches that they announced for the show.
And Danielson and Okada? I mean, bro, if you're not a pro wrestling fan if you're not excited to see them two in the ring.
The only problem that I do have with these announcements is the Bryan Danielson versus Okada match. I kind of wish that we kind of waited until Okada made his AEW debut, because I feel like that's why, they're teasing that Kenny Omega, left the United States. He's not in Canada. He's back in Japan, trying to get Okada with the Elite to, take out the Blackpool Combat Club. So I kind of wish we waited for that. But to announce these two matches, I understand why they did it. They want to sell tickets for this event. They want to get, the New Japan Pro Wrestling fans and AEW fans excited for this. And honestly, I'm super excited. Last year, I couldn't watch, Forbidden Door. And this one right here, with these two announcements, take my money. I'm ready to watch Kenny Omega versus Will Ospreay too. And I think that especially, they killed it in their first match in, New Japan. And now in AEW, this is going to be great. And I'm super excited.
The thing about Forbidden Door, man, and this, I feel like this is the one event a year to where you don't necessarily need a lot of story build up to it. It's all about, opening that Forbidden Door, putting together dream matches that nobody thought would, they would ever see. And that's the cool thing about this event, Forbidden Door. I wish WWE would do something like this, man, because their revenue would fucking blow the fuck up.
I'm super excited about Forbidden Door. I feel like it is a great pay-per-view idea because it is dream matches, and they used to do this stuff in the past with certain shows and stuff. And I really like that AEW and New Japan, they come together once a year and they put on classics. My only issue is I don't want, New Japan Pro storylines and AEW storylines to, keep continuing after Forbidden Door 2.
Yeah,
But
I
I'm
definitely think
really
so.
excited to see like what other matches we get on this card. I think that this is going to be definitely a lot better than Forbidden Door 1. And I think, just having Danielson versus Okada and then having Omega versus Ospreay, you already sold a lot of people.
Well,
And
the
there's
thing
big
about
expectations for this show.
the thing about Forbidden Door 1, it was plagued with injury. There was a lot of matches that were originally booked and that they wanted to happen, but they couldn't because too many people got injured. Remember around that time. So as long as we can stay injury free, maybe one or two of the matches that we were supposed to get last year, we can get this year. I know CM Punk was supposed to have like a really, really big match at Forbidden Door. Danielson was supposed to have a really big match at Forbidden Door, but he ended up getting injured or whatever, and he was out for a couple of months. So hopefully, knock on wood, hopefully we don't get plagued with, the injury bug around Forbidden Door because, I don't want this event to be known as, they have a couple matches announced, but some of them can't happen because people are injured.
And I really do hope that the injury bug doesn't get involved because I know that's where Adam Cole actually sustained his.
Yeah, he got a
concussion.
concussion. He was in a triple threat match. He got a concussion. He
I
was
thought it was
out.
Fatal 4-Way.
It might have been. I haven't watched back the event since it happened, so it might have been. I thought it was a triple threat match though.
I
it might have been
love
a
the two
Fatal
matches
4-Way
that
match.
we got, and we already know John Moxley, he's going to have a match, and this card is going to be very good, I think. And
Oh,
honestly,
absolutely.
as an AEW fan, as a pro wrestling fan, we got a really good show ahead of us. And Danny and I, we will be doing a watch along for AEW Forbidden Door 2 on both the 88
Absolutely.
Vlogs and the We Are Wrestling YouTube channel.
And like I said, man, like if you're not excited for the show and excited for the matches that have already been announced, then you're a casual fan, which is fine. If that's you're the peak of your fandom or whatever. But you're not a true wrestling fan unless you're excited for this fucking match because this card is gonna be fucking stat, bro. I can tell TK just because of the events that happened last year. TK's gonna want to stack this motherfucker up.
Right now, TK is in his kitchen and he's cooking. And while we're talking about, Forbidden Door 2, I wanna know, Danny, what are your thoughts on Will Ospreay's, latest comments about not wanting to leave New Japan? Because a lot of, people have been giving him backlash for, pretty much going on Chris Van Vliet's podcast and pretty much saying how he wants to find a way to make it work with, New Japan because he doesn't want to live in the United States.
Not everybody that's in pro wrestling thrives or wants to be in, WWE or wants to main event WrestleMania, some just, they want to be able to do what they love and make a relatively decent living at it. I do believe as big as New Japan is, New Japan I think has been around longer than WWE in some cases. I do know Will Ospreay and those guys make a very comfortable living. And he only has to travel, maybe a couple times a month, if that. The schedule is not hectic like, WWE having to be in a different city every other day. So I don't think people should look down on that. Will Ospreay, he's so talented, he could work anywhere. If he wanted to sign a WWE contract tomorrow, he fucking could, and they would give him anything the fuck he wants because he's that good. But he wants to wrestle. He wants to live a very simple life. He's not all about the fame and the fortune, and he makes enough money to live. He obviously has a home. He has a wife, I think. So I mean, you gotta respect it because that just shows that he's in it for the love of the sport and not just, oh yeah, I'm gonna be a pro wrestler and be famous. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, you couldn't have said it any better. And I think, with Will Ospreay, I think that, it's criminal that a lot of people are looking, down on him for this because a lot of professional wrestlers, their dreams are to, main event WrestleMania and to hold the WWE championship or, wrestle for a mainstream company like AEW or, Impact Wrestling or, New Japan Pro Wrestling. And Will Ospreay, I think he knows that he's a special attraction we've seen WWE guys, we've seen AEW guys come out and even say if there's one person that they would want to have a dream match with, it would be Will Ospreay. We've heard Randy Orton say it. We've heard Seth friggin' Rollins say it. We've heard everybody say it. And Will Ospreay knows that he's a special attraction, and I think that he knows if he gets signed to AEW or if he gets signed to WWE, that special attraction will fade away slowly. Yes, he will be known. Yes, he'll make a lot of money. Yes, he would, have more, followers and have more eyes on him. But that special attraction of a Will Ospreay match will disappear because he is a special attraction at the end of the day. And Kenny Omega used to be a special attraction like Ospreay. He was, he really put a lot of guys' eyes on the New Japan Pro product when, he was doing the whole cleaner thing over there. A lot of people from the United States started watching New Japan Pro Wrestling because of Kenny Omega and AJ Styles and Finn Balor. But when it's all said and done, I think Will Ospreay knows that right now he's a special attraction and he could probably get more money being a special attraction than, going full-time in WWE or AEW.
Exactly. And, I was watching a YouTube video yesterday by this big time streamer or whatever. He has like 4 million followers on Twitch, like, fucking like 4 or 5 million on YouTube. Like, he's a really, really big, like, well-known streamer. And obviously, having that many followers, having that kind of viewership, you obviously do make, a relatively decent amount of money. And he made a video about why he doesn't live an extravagant life. He drives a car from 2001. He lives with his mom, very modest living, doesn't, spend money on, extravagant things or whatever. And just watching that, I kind of admire that. And he went on to say, being able to acquire something or having something doesn't make me happy. It's knowing that if I want that something, that's what makes me happy. And I feel like that is the same with Will Ospreay. Just knowing that I'm good enough. I can go to WWE if I want to tomorrow. I can go to AEW if I want to tomorrow. And they'll give me whatever I want. Just knowing that he is that talented, that he could do that if he wanted to, I feel like that makes him happy. Just knowing that I'm good enough. This thing that I wanted, being a really, really good pro wrestler and being a really good athlete. Like that makes me happy. Not necessarily going there, but knowing if I want to, I can. That's what makes me happy.
And that's the thing about Will Ospreay that I really respect about him a lot is, his loyalty to New Japan Pro Wrestling, because a lot of guys, they use that platform and they, redefine their careers and they take their, careers to the next level. We've seen plenty of guys, use New Japan Pro Wrestling as, a platform to, get themselves bigger. And I think, Will Ospreay, he's very happy with, the way he's being booked. I think he's very happy, with the direction that his career's going in because AEW has a very good relationship with them. So he can visit the United States at times and still get a lot of eyes on him and New Japan Pro Wrestling. He's a special attraction. And I think there's only a matter of time before we do get a Will Ospreay appearance in WWE at some point.
He's still very young,
maybe a live event or maybe something special on Peacock or something where they have like a Will Ospreay versus Seth Rollins match. You never know.
He did tweet on, I think he posted on Twitter or something I read. He tweeted the O2 Arena is only 20 minutes from my house. I mean, you never know.
I think for Will Ospreay, man, he just wants to be a special attraction, and I think that he's smart. He's thinking of it very smart, and I think a lot of it with his thinking process has to do with the way Kenny Omega was, because Kenny Omega, was in the same position that Ospreay was years ago before AEW became a thing, and Kenny Omega, lost a lot of that momentum in AEW because now he's regularly on TV every week, and he wrestles more. And Will Ospreay, he's more of a special attraction where he wrestles those special matches and you're going to get a classic. We saw it at Forbidden Door 1 with, Will Ospreay versus Orange Cassidy. They had a 5-star.
Bro, that was like the best match of the entire event. And like with WWE, normally WWE doesn't do it. But do you think they would ever bend the rules for somebody like Will Ospreay, sign him to a one-day contract, and maybe they have a giant event in the UK and they want that special attraction in, along with their event? Do you think they would do something like that in the future?
In the future, I could see something like that happening. I know WWE did this back, I think in 2015 or 2016 with Jushin Thunder Liger. They had an NXT match with him. So I could definitely see that down the line because, Triple H's vision. He's going to give the fans what they want. And I think if Vince McMahon is not around, we will get Will Ospreay for probably one time only in WWE for maybe a premiere live event in the UK or
Will
even
Ospreay
an
versus
NXT
Seth
takeover.
Rollins, man. Book that shit.
Our main event topic for this week's episode of the We Are Wrestling Podcast, episode 60. We have a good one that involves both AEW and WWE. And the reason why the war comments continue with AEW fans and WWE fans. So, according to Dave Meltzer of the Wrestling Observer newsletter, there's an interesting note that in arenas that do rent to both AEW and WWE, that WWE has put a clause in its deal that AEW can't run a certain number of weeks before or after the WWE shows. And also that AEW and the arena can't announce the show or sell tickets until after the WWE show has taken place. How do you feel about this news?
I feel like, and I've been talking to a lot of people about this, and, I feel like people are naive to the fact that, this AEW is like the first legit competitor that WWE's had since WCW. You know what I mean? TNA Impact, obviously, they've been around, over 20 years, but TNA has never been to the caliber of AEW. They've never been able to sell out, 15,000 seat arenas. You know what I
Very
mean?
true.
They've been relatively small. They used to film at Universal Studios. You know, there is a makeshift war among fans. People saying, people feeling like, because they watch WWE, they can't watch AEW. If they watch AEW, they can't watch WWE, vice versa, whatever. But I do feel like with WWE doing this, especially for that amount of time, like I can understand like not wanting to promote an AEW show like before, WWE comes to town or whatever. But I feel like right after that show ends, clock strikes 10 o'clock, man. WWE show ends, they're tearing down the set, everybody's leaving, going to the next city, whatever. I feel like then, the following day or whatever, a couple hours later, AEW should be able to, start promoting their event or whatever. I feel like this is happening because AEW and WWE don't run too many of the same arenas. I think the MGM Grand they run, and it just got announced that that AEW is going to be coming to TD Bank, the TD Garden in Boston, and that is a known WWE territory. That's where they had Survivor Series a couple months ago. So I feel like because something like this hasn't been mentioned at all until it got announced that AEW is going to be running TD Garden. So I don't think this will have too much of effect because, like I said, AEW, they don't run too many of the same buildings as WWE usually. You know what I mean?
Here's what I got to say about this. It's a very, very smart but fucked up move on WWE's behalf. I think that, WWE is thinking smart because usually when you go to an arena for, a wrestling show or a concert, they always have, the flyers all over the arena, announcing the other concerts and all the other shows that are taking place, during that time. So WWE, is looking at that perspective because let's say WWE went to TD Garden and AEW was already selling tickets. You go to TD Garden, you're going to see like on, the banners, you're going to see on like the television screens, they're going to be advertising and promoting that AEW show. So it is very smart on WWE's behalf to, put that clause in the deals with, the arenas. Because, if you're running a promotion and you're going head to head with clearly the number 2 option, AEW, you definitely do not want anybody's eyes on that flyer or that, banner.
That I do definitely understand from that aspect. But I do also feel like it's a little bit more fucked up that they can't promote an AEW show a couple weeks before or a couple weeks after the event. I feel like once your event ends, it should be free game. 10 o'clock ends, the show is officially over, the set's getting tore down. The next day, 9 o'clock in the morning the next day, they should be able to promote whatever they want. So
And
I
that's
don't like
that's
that
why I
fact.
say it's a smart business move, but it's also fucked up because WWE, they can keep saying, oh, we don't fear AEW, this and that. But with these reports coming out, clearly that shows that you're fearing AEW because why would you want AEW, to have advertisements in the arena that you're working? Because let me tell you, from going to Survivor Series, from going to Monday Night Raw, when you go to these shows, really, it's not a lot of hardcore fans. A lot of them are casual fans where it's families bringing kids to these shows. And let's say, some of these fans that have only been tuned into WWE, like Ben, are at these wrestling shows. They do not want them to freaking know anything that AEW is doing. That's why they won't mention AEW. Because if, somebody sees that, they might look it up and they might say, wow, this is a lot better than what I'm watching here. Let me tune into this.
Yeah.
And WWE is really thinking smart on that end, but it definitely shows fear.
It definitely does. And, like I said, I can understand not wanting to promote before a WWE event happens. But I do feel like I said, once the event ends, 10 o'clock, set's getting tore down, WWE's out of the town, 9 a.m. the next day, I do feel like they should be allowed to start promoting the next event, which if it's AEW, then it's AEW. I don't like this fact that, WWE hasn't been in the building, in 2 weeks, 3 weeks. We can't start selling the AEW tickets. I don't think that's right at all.
And that's why with the business things, that's why I say it's fucked up on WWE's end, because I remember, I think it was 2019, Ring of Honor, they had a show at Madison Square Gardens. And I remember WWE being pissed about it because, that's their home. That's where, we've seen so many defining moments in, sports entertainment. And, they got really pissed off about that. And Madison Square Garden told them, you guys do most of your shows nowadays at the Barclays Center, where there's more seats. Like, you guys don't really do shows at Madison Square Garden unless it's a live event. And honestly, I feel like when it comes to arenas, it shouldn't be a territory type of thing. I know, that's how it's always been in pro wrestling, going all the way back, to the territory days where, we had promotions, in the Northeast. We've had promotions in the West, the South, the East, the West, the North, the South.
Yeah.
But I feel like it shouldn't be like that. And I don't know. I just feel like definitely shows a lot of fear. And I think that, yes, as soon as that set is put down, the next day AEW should be able to advertise their show and they should be able to do that. But I think TK, definitely is thinking he already knew about all of this happening, which is why I think he avoids, going to the same places WWE goes to.
I was just about to say that, that's probably why, they decided to go to, I don't know.
TD Garden. Because Survivor Series was the last, big show that happened over there. So AEW decided, well, let's wait, about 6 to 8 months.
Was it?
I believe so.
I thought earlier this year they had a show in Boston, and that was John Cena's big return.
Oh, yes, they did at Boston. That's the last one. You're right. You're absolutely right. But you see, after that John Cena return, they haven't been back to that building since. So AEW, is thinking, okay, let's, have a show at the TD Garden in maybe like 4 to 5 months so that we get plenty of time to sell tickets, this and that. Even though it's a hurdle for AEW to do this, I think that this still, definitely benefits both sides because you don't want to see the other rival being
WWE's forgetting, and I wanted to bring this up because you were just talking about Ring of Honor not long ago. I want to say about 78% of the talent that they have signed to WWE came from Ring of Honor. You know what I mean? Or even past guys. We got Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens, Bryan Danielson, like all these guys. All these big name guys, even though Bryan Danielson's in AEW Seth Rollins, like all these guys came from Ring of Honor in those different territories or whatever. So it's weird that WWE has an issue with those, because if it wasn't for those promotions, they wouldn't have the talent that they have.
Well, during 2019, WWE thought that Ring of Honor was going to be the next AEW because they had Cody Rhodes, they had the Young Bucks, and they had Kenny Omega. So they thought at the time that Ring of Honor was their competition, and the Elite were making it known that they were ready to, go against WWE. And that's when they formed, AEW. They gave, more professional wrestlers and the fans a second option.
Yeah,
and
the
I
original...
feel like they shouldn't be punished for that because this second option, gives more wrestling fans an opportunity to experience something different. This gives, more pro wrestling fans a second option. So if you don't enjoy what WWE is doing, you can go over to AEW. And most importantly, it's opening up more eyes on the product and it's opening up more jobs for these pro wrestlers. Because if they're not being used properly in one area, they can go to the other.
Exactly. And the original All In show, that was technically a Ring of Honor show. Which I think is why, initially why TK wanted to buy Ring of Honor, because he always wanted to do an All In too because of the success of the first one, and obviously the second one is going to be a lot bigger. But overall in this whole situation, I can definitely understand and get behind, not wanting to promote an AEW show before a WWE show because I wouldn't want that done to AEW. But I do feel like once the show ends, bro, it should be fair game.
Absolutely agree with you. And I think that a lot of people are just blowing this whole thing out of proportion. I think AEW is not worried about it. WWE, they don't really care that much about it. They're, still trying to compete with AEW low key, and they try to have NXT compete with them, and AEW just wipes the floor with them. There's a reason why they had to move from Wednesdays back to Tuesdays. But to the We Are Wrestling Maniacs out there that are watching, let us know in the comment section below your thoughts on all the topics that we covered on this week's episode of the podcast. If you're a listener, give us a 5-star review and download us because Danny loves being downloaded.
Oh, I love it, man. And don't forget, before Donnie does sign off, man, I got to say this, and we're probably going to, talk about it next week, but by then it's probably going to be a little bit too late. A week from today, man, Springfield, Massachusetts, the Wrestling Classic 3, me, Ben, and Donnie are going to be there. We're going to have a table. We're going to have merch. We're going to, talk to people, meet people. Kurt Angle's going to be there. Diamond Dallas Page is going to be there. The Godfather's going to be there. The Ass Boys, the Guns are going to be there, man, from AEW. It's going to be a good time. Go to zombiehideout.com to get tickets, Captain's Corner. It's going to be a great show, man. I'm looking forward to it. Donnie, are you looking forward to the Wrestling Classic 3?
I am super excited for this. This is going to be the first time We Are Wrestling. We're going to be a vendor. We're going to be a partner with Zombie Hideout and Captain's Corner. I know you guys have been seeing and hearing the, Wrestling Classic commercials, throughout the We Are Wrestling podcast the past few months. It is going to be happening next Saturday. We're going to have a table. We're going to be doing giveaways. We're going to be having new shirts. We're going to be having a lot of awesome things going on there. If you're in the Western Mass area, if you're in Springfield, Mass on June 17th, recommend you guys to come out and say what's up. But if you guys enjoyed We Are Wrestling 60, make sure to smash that like button now. If you're not a We Are Wrestling Maniac yet already, subscribe, turn on the post notifications. The link's down in the description below. You can go follow Danny, Ben, and myself on our social medias and other YouTube pages, all that down below. In addition, you want additional content, go follow us on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. All the links down below. And of course, to all the We Are Wrestling Maniacs out there worldwide, we are taking over. Peace.